Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good.
I had two things going on at the same time. I couldn't even hear myself think back here. It was running the entire time. I don't know what is running behind here, but either way. Good afternoon, folks. Good afternoon. We're starting. I was hoping to have a few more minutes because I'm in the middle of lunch. So we'll just wait for a few people to get in here, and then we'll get started. Oh, I don't like the light colored glasses. I like them when I'm reading and stuff like that, but I like the darker glasses. It looks better on camera. So that's what I do. I never eat bread, but I went to Detweiler's, and Detweiler's it's like farm to table a grocery store here, and so they had fresh Asiago bread, and it's just hard not. I mean, fresh bread, right? Like fresh bread, and fresh cut chicken. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Don't even need mayonnaise. The bread and the meat are so flavorful. You can just throw literally bread and meat together and it's good. It's good. And you know I don't eat cold food. So if I'm eating cold food, you know it's gotta be good. So anyways, we're gonna be going over part 3 of our story, and this is related to Kelly Siegler and this very biased, I have to be honest, very, very biased, in my opinion, article about Kelly Siegler. And the problem is I just don't think that they collected that they are arguing for a winner. Like if this is the best case subject to write this article about, I'm very confident in the work that Kelly's doing. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay. There are a few key points in this article that I think we could take a closer look at. I think that we could have um, a healthy debate over, and I think the tone is we haven't quite got there yet. There's been hints of it throughout this entire story. And the hints are that the informant system. So prosecutors as well as law enforcement, we know very well. We watch every single, shoot 'em up movie out there, and every one of those movies, you have an officer that has an informant that they grease each other's, hands and, they look the other way for certain things. We've seen it, it's obviously sensationalized on the big screen, but in reality, it is a lawful process to obtain testimony. So basically, how it works is say, for example, you go to jail. Okay, say you go to jail for a really bad crime. Let's say bank robbery. Okay, you go to jail. Where is it coming? I don't know where this is coming from. Hold on, guys. I gotta put everything. I'm hearing myself echo. It's really, really bizarre. Now I'm not echoing anymore. I don't get it. Did you guys hear me echo? I thought that was really, really weird. I wonder if I hit something. My I'm running out of room here. Everything's kind of hitting everything. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Um, where was I at? I forgot even where I was at because leave it to Betty and all the technical. I tell you, I'm not a technical person. I'm really not. If I have problems, I have to shut everything out and put it all back up and pray to God it can reconfigures itself. That's my solution to everything. But it's the system. It's the informant system, and we've seen it many times. And so what they do is give them, they say, let's say bank robbery. I think that was the example we were using. It was the bank robbery example. And so you're going into jail, but they're trying to find the money, so they might put somebody in your cell that has worked with them in the past. And when they work with them, they know their work. I don't know. It's not like these people come a dime a dozen. I mean, there are some people that will do it and just some people that won't. So you have your jailhouse stitches, period. They That's what they do. That's how they get their comfort while they're in jail in many cases. So these jailhouse snitches are in these units with these bad guys, or in this example, the bank robber, and they wanted the law enforcement or whatever's trying to find out where a gun's at, or what was in the message, or where the money is, right? And so these people befriend these criminals behind bars, and they're doing it in an effort, literally, to extract money or extract information, rather, to extract information for leniency, either on their sentence or to have benefit while they're in jail. This is a common practice that happens a lot. So this article is really prefaced around um, that issue. Is the informant, did she violate her oath of office by overutilizing informants and intentionally misleading courts and blah 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 blah. Literally every judge, or not every judge, every prosecutor, every attorney around here is accused somebody of wrongdoing because, they're trying to win the case. And in many cases, sometimes people make somebody. I think this is on my phone. Do you guys hear that? It's coming in. I don't know what it is. Let's see if I got this on. No, I don't think I have anything on my phone. Something is going on with my speakers. Oh Lord. Let me just go through my stuff and make sure I don't have any. Oh, there, I think I found it. I found it. I found it. I found it. We're good. We're all good, guys. I got it. I'm surprised it didn't do it before. I mean, it was running behind here. I'm surprised we didn't have echoes all over the place. I really am. I'm surprised we didn't have echoes all over the place. Could you guys hear that, or could I just hear it? Because it was on a completely different screen altogether. That was really weird. But anyways, that's what they do. And then they get a lenient sentence or some comforts while they're in prison. And then it goes into the actual case, the Mr. P case. I'm going to call him Mr. P because I can't pronounce his name correctly. Okay. I just can't, for whatever reason, I can't pronounce his name correctly. It's not echoing now, right? If it was echoing, there's nothing I can do about it, but hopefully it's not echoing now. Anyways, we went through the house of bodies, full of bodies. And this is just showcasing the case, the information behind the case, what was going on those hours before the neighbor opened up his garage and saw the house across the street billowing with smoke and 5 bodies inside. And that's what it was, a house billowing with smoke. He kicks the door in, finds his friend on the floor between the washer and the pool table. By that time, I think first responders are already there. They kick through the house. They find the girlfriend partially nude, set on fire, and solve it in gas cans next to her. And there's 3 children in the house that have soot and their autopsy showed that they had smoke inhalation. So they ended up breathing all that in and succumbing to the smoke inhalation. They weren't harmed or injured other than that, which was, obviously they lost their life. But the only person that was there at the end of the night was Ron, Mr. P, Ron Pribble. I don't know if it's Pribble. It's Prible, Jr., Ronald Pribble Jr. And he was the only one there at the end of the night. And he lived a few blocks away. And I don't think we have gotten there yet, but he was actually driven home. But it comes down to the actual physical evidence on the bodies as to why he was charged. There was a jailhouse informant used to solidify his conviction at his court hearing, but I don't think it was the star of the show, if you ask me. I really don't. The real trial tiger is part 3 of this entire story. So before we get started, I'm just going to go ahead and run this video. It's the video we rerun for all the people that don't know what cold justice is. This just gives you an idea of what it is and who Kelly Siegler is.
Cold Justice is a TV show unlike any other show that exists on TV, because what we do is go out to small counties and cities all across the country where murder cases are waiting to be solved and worked on, and do our very best to see if we can do whatever we can to try and put those cases together to get justice for families. And it's real. I'm a former prosecutor, so I know what it takes to put a case together in the courtroom. I'm working with cops that have worked hundreds of murder cases in their careers, and we bring that kind of experience and knowledge and know-how everywhere we go all across the country, trying to truly get something done for so many families out there that are hurting. It's just what happens when we meet the families. You know who you're going to be meeting as far as the relationship to the murder victim, but when you look into their eyes and you have them tell you what they've gone through, what the criminal justice system has done to further break their heart, and you feel their pain and frustration, and they tell you about their loved one, how do you not feel that? How do you not want to do your very best to help those people? I don't think that you can ever quit feeling that if you do this job.
I can't even speak. I'm still trying to chew my food and get it down before I speak. I thought that video was a little bit longer. I forgot. I did. I forgot. I forgot how long that was. So anyways, so we're kind of going to get on to the rest of the story. I'm going to read it, and then we're going to kind of talk about it. There is one case that I actually want to look into. Actually, let me go ahead and pull this up now, that I didn't have a chance to pull up before this live. There it is. So I wanted to read that. I haven't read it yet, but we will. Let me get back to this. So this is where we're at for the Kelly Siegler. We're at the real trial tiger. And again, this is a very biased article, in my opinion. I have to agree. It's bad. It's bad. And they're actually painting this entire story as this guy is innocent. Even reading their story, I don't believe it. I like, just their print alone is not leading me to their conclusion at the end. It just isn't, they're trying to paint this guy as being a not involved or something, right? Well, I've got to be honest with you. Even reading their article, I am convinced he is behind bars for good reason. So I'm kind of in shock that they actually thought this made Kelly look awful. It really doesn't, but it does. Anyways, the day after Christmas in 1999, the Houston Chronicle published a glowing profile of the star prosecutor at Harris County District Attorney's Office, 37-year-old Assistant District Attorney Kelly Siegler, titled "One Shrewd Cracker Barrel Lawyer." The article traced her evolution from a small-town girl from Managorda County to gifted prosecutor who shot through the ranks and symbolized the aggressive, colorful spirit of the powerful office in the country that sends more people to death row than any other place. I have a funny feeling the people that wrote this article are absolutely opposed to the death penalty. I don't know why I'm getting that vibe because I feel like that's really they're trying to make it about all this other stuff, but I think that is really their drumbeat in this article is they don't like the death penalty. Born Kelly Renee Julefuk. I can't pronounce it. My phonics is broken. Siegler grew up in a tiny Blessing, Texas, a wart of a town on State Highway 35, surrounded by rice farms. As Texas Monthly described in its 1977 feature highlighting her mother's home-style cooking. Siegler's father, known as Big Billy, ran a barber shop and worked as a local justice of the peace. He went shoeless and held court between haircuts, the Chronicle reported. Siegler played high school basketball and was a valedictorian of her graduating class. At the University of Texas at Austin, where she graduated early after studying international business, she was known in her dorm as the Hick. Siegler joined the DA's office straight out of law school in 1987 as an intern in the office family's criminal law division. She had come face to face with domestic violence cases, which fueled her desire to seek justice for victims. The issue was personal for Siegler, who was just a child when she urged her mother to leave her abusive stepfather and watched helplessly as the system protected him. I grew up in a world where ladies walked around with black eyes, she later said in a clip from Cold Justice. You know what? That I do remember that time. It wasn't too far. I think it was a lot of people that I think it was a lot of people during that time that in a lot of areas, mostly rural, that lived like that. Siegler arrived at the DA's office as legendary District Attorney Johnny Holmes had become famous for seeking the harshest possible punishments. Before long, she was making her mark as an overachiever. Evaluations contained in her personnel file showed Siegler quickly gained a reputation as a real trial tiger. In the words of then supervisor Chuck Rosenthal, who would eventually replace Holmes as DA, I have seen her try murder cases based solely on circumstantial evidence and get life sentences from juries, another supervisor wrote. But see, they're kind of blaming her for doing her job and doing her job well. If she's able to explain how the crime was done, so much so that the jury can find the person guilty, why are they blaming her? Why are they blaming her? I don't know. Siegler won her first death sentence in 1992. Her mother sat in the courtroom as Siegler urged jurors to send an alleged skinhead with an IQ named Brian Edward Davis to death row for a crime he committed when he was 22. Despite her victory, she cried and was sick to her stomach after trial. He was like every boy I grew up with, she told the Chronicle. So she's being, kind of chastised here for having a heart, just because. And I think this statement, while the next statement, which I haven't read, I'm going to read, you're going to see that it's basically saying that she's saying this, but she doesn't really feel it. And I have to be honest with you, just hearing that sentence about how she had to send this skinhead with a low IQ to death row because of a crime he committed when he was 22. That's a crime he committed when he was 22. She didn't commit the crime. She has a job to do, and she does her job well. She wants to make sure whoever needs to go to jail or be sentenced to death is sentenced to death. But for whatever reason, she felt bad about it because, this is somebody that reminded her of somebody from her childhood. She set that all that emotion aside to take him to court and prosecute the case well. I think that shows a lot about her. But of course, naturally in biased arguments, they have a way to turn that from a good thing into a bad thing. But if she had any reservations about seeking the ultimate punishment, there was no hint of it in her record. Siegler is repeatedly lauded for securing convictions when evidence was thin, or as Rosenthal put it, for her ability to make a silk purse out of sewer's ear. Investigators and police detectives sent letters to Holmes praising her talent. No average ADA would have gone to trial under the heading murder. One letter read, "Luckily, you don't have an average ADA in Kelly Siegler." Jurors were won over by Siegler's folksy appeal and knack for weaving compelling stories from circumstantial evidence. She spent a ton of time preparing her witnesses, and it showed. Siegler credited her humble roots for helping her relate to jurors. "I practiced every argument and timed it out like I'm in that barber shop," Siegler told the Chronicle. "I figured if I can talk to the jury like I'm talking to my daddy and his buddies, then I'm doing okay." At the start of the new millennium, Siegler was at the top of her game. Holmes, who retired in 2001, had transformed the DA's office, putting Houston on the map as the most aggressive death penalty jurisdiction in the country. You see, you're starting to hear with a hint too, right? You're starting to hear the hint too. Siegler was both a product of the office and a trailblazer, a woman who thrived in the good old boys club while pushing the boundaries of prosecutorial performance. She estimated that she'd won at least 80% of the 150 felony jury trials. That is amazing. That is amazing. She handled, according to the Chronicle, although code workers said that the number was much higher, if there was anyone that could have resurrected a cold case of Hera and Triado and win conviction, it was going to be Siegler. Now, this is where this case starts getting really, really chummy, because now it's going to start getting into the DNA of it. Remember, Pribble said when he first started out with law enforcement, he said basically he was there, that Hera took him home. And he stayed home the rest of the night. Law enforcement believed him because for up until they got back to the house and Martinez left the house, Martinez and Pribble's Mr. P's statements were corroborating one another. But it was his testimony or his statement to law enforcement after Martinez left, and they still believed him. They still believed his statement, but they said, you know what, just to be on the safe side, let's just go ahead and get you on a polygraph. Let's make sure that we get this documented. You got no problem with that, right? And he's like, no, I got nothing to hide, right? So he goes to the polygraph test and takes the polygraph test. And lo and behold, he flunks miserably. Deception detected. So they take him back into the interrogation room. They read him his rights, and they start asking him some questions about, why is this, polygraph? Why'd you fail the polygraph, right? And so he tells the detective, well, I forgot something. I forgot to bring up something. I didn't really want to tarnish Nilda's, reputation and name and stuff like that. But, me and her were kind of seeing each other. We were kind of having this fling on the side that her man, the father of her kids, didn't know about, and that night that this murder happened, well, we kind of snuck off to the bathroom and had some alone time in the bathroom. But that's really all. That's all I left out. That's all I left out. So naturally, when all the DNA and forensics came back in this case, he explained why his DNA was on the female. Because they had a little fling going on. The problem is when law enforcement decided to check out this allegation of this fling, people were shocked. Nilda's friends are saying, whoa, what did you say? Did you just say my girl's having an affair with this creep? She didn't like this man. She didn't want him coming back to the house anymore. She really actually wanted Steve to end the relationship. She didn't want him at the house. He creeped her out. He creeped her out. She had just got done telling her friends just recently before the deaths how creepy he had become. It's kind of a tough pill to swallow that he's saying that they're tight, so tight that they snuck off to the bathroom while the father of her child, her 22-month-old child, is sitting out there drunk and high. That's not leading to a bad combination, right? But somehow that happened. That there was only 3 adults in the house, and 2 can just magically sneak off somewhere and leave the third one just out there not knowing what the other 2 were doing. It doesn't make sense. In any practical situation, it just doesn't make sense. So that brings us back to this story. So now we're going to start getting into the DNA conversation about this, because now we're learning that there's potentially an explanation as to why the DNA is on the female half. Just a second. Oh, yeah, no, it doesn't really matter. Not at this point. We just need to keep it up. Just keep it up. I mean, just mute one, put them both up and mute one. That's basically what it is at this point. I don't feel like, well, the problem is I don't feel like killing the switch. I guess we probably could. But I think at this point, because we're in the middle of the conversation, I should just keep going. I had some technical issues, as always, that I seem to be having here lately. So I'll have to figure it. I think I'm gonna restart the computer after we're off this live, just to reset it. It hasn't been restarted in a really long time. So now that we're getting down to the DNA portion of it, it says it's not entirely clear when Siegler first decided Pribble was guilty. Mr. P was guilty. I'm going to start using Mr. P. I hate not pronouncing somebody's name right. I might be pronouncing it right, but I just don't know. So it's just easier for me to say Mr. P. Brown, the lead detective, testified that he first brought his file on the murders to her office in late 2000. But it was another detective who helped Siegler revive the cold case. Harris County DA investigator Johnny Bonds. I like that. At least his personality online. I like him too. Okay, I have to admit, those two are my favorite combo. Johnny Bonds and Kelly Siegler. I don't know. I just like him. He's got the sweetest voice. He has the kindest smile, and he's got the softest eyes. You know. I don't know what it is about Johnny Bonds, but I look at that man and I just automatically trust him. I don't know what it is. I just automatically trust him. He walked up to me today and wanted to question me about everything. I would probably be as honest as I could possibly be. Now that was my word salad. So, who later became Siegler's co-star on Cold Justice. I just realized I don't have my overhead light on. Like Siegler, Bonds started his career as an overachiever. Once the young Houston Police Department officer ever assigned to a homicide unit, he was immortalized in The Cop Who Wouldn't Quit, a 1983 book chronicling his quest to solve a triple murder. After leaving the police force, Bond did a short stint working private security and home remodeling, but quickly returned to detective work. And in 1989, he joined forces with Harris County DA's office. On March 1st, 2001, Bonds received a fax from Dallas-based DNA analysis named Bill Watson, who had examined the forensic evidence submitted by the Sheriff's Department, including the blood, hair, and saliva samples taken from Pribble. The fax was a copy of Watson's original 2-page report from 1999. His findings were not revelatory. Hooked on phonics. Revelatory. There we go. Revelatory. Scrapings from beneath Toronto's fingernails had yielded only her DNA. A pair of white tennis shoes belonging to Pribble, Mr. P, was tested for blood, but Watson found none. Still, one part of the report interested Siegler. Here's where we start getting a little chummy and a little choppy with this case. 2 male DNA profiles had been obtained from semen collected on Nilda's body. They did vajayjay swabs as well as, backdoor swabs. And those both showed signs are spermatozoa. Let's just get found sperm, right? They found sperm, and that was linked to Steve Herrera, the child's father. They were boyfriend and girlfriend. So her boyfriend linked back to the vajayjay and the back door. However, there was sperm from the oral swab. So the sperm from the oral swab belonged to Mr. P. In his statement divulging the affair, Mr. P told detectives that Nilda had performed oral sex on him in the bathroom, which would explain the presence of the product in the oral swab on the oral swab. But Siegler was skeptical, although Mr. P said the two had been messing around for some time. Friends of Nilda rejected that notion that she was cheating on Herrera with Mr. P. Flores, a friend who told police about Herrera's involvement in the bank robbery, said she's known Mr. P since middle school, and he gave her the creeps. Another friend said Nilda shared this opinion. Nilda told me that she always thought Jeff was creepy, the woman told detectives. When these statements were first collected in 1999, the DA's office didn't consider the evidence strong enough to form a basis of a murder case. But with Siegler in charge, things changed. By the summer of 2001, Siegler had concluded that the DNA evidence from the oral swab could only be the result of a sexual assault. In the absence of any physical evidence against Pribble, Mr. P, this would be the linchpin in her case. The probable cause affidavit, the DA's office laid out evidence against Mr. P describing the bank robbery scheme and noting that Mr. P was the last person known to have seen Steve and Nilda alive. The affidavit mentioned a weapon, and the paperwork received from the home of Mr. P's parents, records from a local firearm retailer, showed that Mr. P had purchased a .38 Taurus revolver in 1998. Yet this weapon has yet to be found among the defendant's possessions. A firearm examiner said the projectiles recovered next to Nilda's body was consistent with a .38 caliber. The affidavit suggested that Mr. P shot Herrera and Nilda with a .38 Taurus, then successfully got rid of it. Finally, the state cited DNA evidence taken from the sperm on the oral swab, and the woman who said Nilda and Mr. P found Mr. P creepy. She does not believe the complainant was having any sort of an affair with the defendant based on what she thought about him. On August 29, 2001, a grand jury indicted Mr. P on capital murder. Oh, thank you, Jen. God bless you. God bless you. So that was all we have for Chapter 3, our Part 4 on here. So as you're seeing, they're starting to set this case up. This guy, he's a bad guy. Mr. P is a bad guy. They're trying to say we haven't quite got there yet. And I think we're going to learn. We're going to be reading the final chapter of this tomorrow, which is Saturday. And I think what we're going to learn is that this article leans as if Kelly inappropriately utilize the informant system. I don't think she did. I think people, this is what I think. No matter what state, county, or city someone is in, you've got somebody that wants to make a deal. You got somebody behind bars that wants to make a deal. Okay. Period. And if you're in like a state prison, you probably deal with more on a state level, right? If you're in a federal prison, you probably deal with it more on a federal level. So we've got a lot of people that are in jail, especially in state custody, that do a lot of bad stuff. Some of these people are never going to see the light of day again. But they don't mind wheeling that this is their life. This is the rest of their life. They don't mind wheeling and dealing with prosecutors or anybody else to make their time there a little more bougie. Okay. They want to be taken care of a little bit better. They want to have a more bougie time. I'm watching both chats and I see everybody in the other chat laughing. God bless you guys. God bless you guys for being over there too. We're going to have to run a live completely over on the other channel because we need to build that up. I have a funny feeling that it's just going to be going this way until we can get to the end of this. It is what it is, but we will get to it. I promise you. It just sucks that we were put in a position like this over a man that can't take criticism from a woman. I'm starting to think he's an incel. Like he's that bad. You know, he hates women clearly, and he hates women that put him in his place. He's a very abusive person, and we're just going to have to take the walk. The walk is the walk, right? He's not going to be successful. We know that these type of cases are bullshit. And even if he wants to look like he's a tough guy, when Kiera gets into that courtroom, she's going to have to deal with me. And trust me, I'm not easy to deal with, and I'm going to discover the hell out of her. Because remember, she's in a criminal investigation, and she's opened herself up to a shit ton of discovery. And believe the fact that I'm going to be utilizing that to my benefit. So thank you. Not too many people are that stupid, but you're not talking about people that have brain cells. they run off emotion and the fact that they have to be pompous, and they're going to get themselves in a lot of problems. But hey, they have to learn the hard way. It's only a minor inconvenience for me. It's going to be a major problem for them. Thank you. So, what do you guys think about that? So far, I got to ask, like I'm reading this, and maybe my bias is showing, right? I'm human. I love Kelly. She's my cold justice chick, right? We're down like 4 flat tires. I love her. I can't imagine that she did anything wrong. Why? Because I see her on TV. I've personalized with her. I've humanized her. I've never had a conversation with her, but she's my BFF, right? She's my BFF. There's no way she would do that. I don't believe she did that. Now, do I believe that she's done things inappropriate at her job? Yes. I think all of us at some point in our career had made a poor decision a time or two. Do I think it was so catastrophic or that she intentionally did it? I don't think anybody intentionally and willfully, this type of work. I don't know anybody that would intentionally and willfully do that. I mean, and if somebody does, then they have policies and procedures to deal with that. But I don't think really that any attorney goes out there and says, hey, I want to be a really bad attorney. They usually want to go out there and be the best attorney that they can be. But the problem comes in is that it's all about interpretation of the law. It's not necessarily that they're going outside professionalism not to do a good job or to have one up. But for example, like even I think the Brian Koberger case would be the best prime example for this particular example, because it's the IGG, right? The state did not turn that stuff over to Brian Kohberger's defense. They felt it didn't matter to the case. Were they bad at their job? Did they intentionally and willfully restrict it? I don't know if they did that. I think what it was is it was a conflict in interpretation of the law. And that's where it's at. So it's not that the attorneys are intentionally doing it. They're just saying, hey, I'm not required to send this to you. You're not getting this because it has nothing to do with the case. It's prejudice. It's not exculpatory. So they're having some conflict in their interpretation. So I think that that's more of what it is, but they make it out to be more than it should be. And that's what a defense attorney is supposed to do. We're seeing it in Alec Murdaugh's case right now as we speak, prime example. So I think that's kind of where we're at. No, not really. Didn't really have it. Was able to get my dog. Aw, that's nice. Hopefully. If you have not subbed up, for all those that are coming in, excuse me, up at the top is, Mike's over there. Actually, you guys over on the new channel. Thank you guys that is supporting the new channel. Just as a precautionary measure, we're setting up the third channel. We need everybody over there because there may be a court process that has to go on in order for me to defend myself, defend my channel, and finally put this to rest. And I'm going to be going after financial compensation to both Kiera as well as SF Investigates in this matter. And so he's coming after my channel. He's coming after my channel. I just want to make sure that we're very clear on who's coming after my channel. He went on Twitter and said, the person that is coming after my channel to take me down is him. And so we screenshotted that. So we have that. We know who's coming after my channel. But it's still jeopardizing it. So we have to set up the third until it's resolved. So what's going to end up happening is he's going to sue me under somebody else's name. And then I've got to go to court, and then I've got to make that person come in, which they're going to have to deal with me, not Steve. And since she's probably going to be put under oath and find out that Steve's the one that's been doing all this stuff, we're going to have a problem with him and going to have to go down that road. But until that process is finalized, it may jack up my my channels. I don't know if it will. I don't know what the process. I've never dealt with a process like this before. We're just going to go through it and we're going to defend. I can tell you that literally 5% of all copyright suits ever resolve in penalty. It's usually when you allege copyright. They are very loose with copyright at the copyright office. So I do feel confident that we will get through this process successfully, but we still are most likely going to have to go through this process. It will be uncomfortable for me. It'll be uncomfortable for them. And we'll just keep doing the stuff and keep rocking it out with our coffee beans out. One thing we will not do is we will not give up. We will not let the bad guys win. We will not let evil trump love and goodness. And we'll still keep doing the good work that we do. And we'll still keep defending ourselves like we have to until the courts finally start taking this seriously and resolving this situation. But I do have a funny feeling this is going to be taken very, very, very seriously. And we'll just see where it goes from there. But until then, just for everybody to know, I'm doing everything. Listen, this YouTube stuff, people take this too seriously. Listen, we built a channel from the grounds up just a couple weeks ago and had it monetized within a week. Okay. This third channel is going to be a little bit more. I say within 2 weeks, we're going to have it up, have it monetized. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. They're trying to make it a victory lap. Trust me, by the time this is all said and done, the damage that they have done is going to be minimal to the damage they've done to themselves. Everything has consequences, literally everything. They're taking instant gratification, and it's sad because they're going to try to cry victim, later down the road. And it's going to be like you did it to yourself. Like you literally did it to yourself. Just out of you trying to show that you could hurt somebody else and a woman, you abusive motherfucker. But that's okay. We'll get through it. So get over to the other channel. The link is up at the very top here. And we're going to keep working it out. So I need you guys over there. I need you to watch as much watch time as possible. You know the routine for all of my warriors out there. You know the routine. We got to watch. We got to get the watch time up, and we got to get the membership up. We need 1,000 memberships, at least 3,000 watch hours, and I do believe we can do it. But we're at some point, I'm going to have to convert. Whether this channel comes down or not, I'm still going to have to convert over there to get the watch times up, because we absolutely need that channel up and functioning as a monetized channel moving forward. So that's kind of the barking orders that I've got right now. And if we have to build the channel from the ground up, it doesn't matter, because I'm Bullhorn Betty. People come to watch me, right? They come to watch me, and they'll keep coming. And it's never going to stop me. It's never going to stop the work that we do. Again, it's minor inconvenience. And I swear to God that at the end of this, we will all be just fine. Okay. And I really do believe that God has a great plan and a special gift in store for all of us. I truly believe that. I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that. And just when we think that they can't do any worse, they go a little lower. And you know what we do? We survive and we rise. And that's something they'll never take away from us. We rise and we shine, and we will continue to do so. So guys, get over to the new channel, sub it up, and let's not let them win. Let's not let them win. God bless you. Have a great day. I'm off for the rest of the day. It's Friday, guys. It's Friday, and I need a break. I do need a break. I have been going for over 2 months every single day. So it's time. It's Christmas time, and I am going to plug off. We will be back here at 6:30 in the morning tomorrow morning. I don't know what we're talking about, but I know it's going to be great, and it's going to be true crime. God bless, and see you soon. If I can find the right buttons. Oh.
Warning, warning, bullshit alert.
I don't feel like I pushed enough buttons today. What's this wrong?
What?
I love that one. Everybody says I ruined my channel by pushing buttons, so I just figured it's my damn channel. We're going to push them all. And then my favorite one. All right, now we're done. I'll see you guys later. God bless, and we'll see you tomorrow morning.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.